Stephen Fry has called for an end to the use of real fur in the bearskin caps worn by the King's Guard. The actor and author has backed a campaign by PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, calling for fake fur to be used instead. The Ministry of Defence says the skins come from legal and licensed hunts. The RAC is calling for a government investigation into certain types of headlights after drivers said they were affected by the glare.
Yeah, it's interesting, especially at this time of year, isn't it? The organisation says the increased use of LEDs as opposed to yellower halogen bulbs could be to blame. The RAC's research shows that many drivers believe they are too bright today.
Should we have a look at today's papers? And you won't be surprised that the Post Office scandal continues to dominate the front pages. This is The Sun. They've spoken to the postmaster in Upper Bucklebury, where the Princess of Wales grew up. He says her family supported him in his 10-year fight to clear his name, and now he wants to see every conviction overturned.
Staying with that, now give back your millions is the headline on the front page of the Daily Mail today. The paper says campaigners have described the former head of the Post Office, Paula Vennell's decision to return her CBE as a token gesture. It now wants her to pay back some of her bonuses. We will talk about that issue with some of the former sub-postmasters and mistresses who'll be sitting here on the sofa with us, 9 of them at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, indeed. And still part of the same story, the Eye reports that the tech firm Fujitsu won £700 million worth of government contracts via a priority lane system. This despite concerns over its faulty Horizon software. Yet more to talk to our sub-postmasters about.
And another pressing issue in Westminster today. The Times says that Rishi Sunak is facing possible revolt over that Rwanda bill. That hasn't gone away. It returns to the Commons next week. The paper says that unless the Prime Minister listens to more than 30 right-wing Tory MPs who want to see an amendment which would prevent deportation flights from being blocked, then that Rwanda bill might still fail. So you might remember that the Prime Minister sort of dealt with a potential mutiny on his backbenches just before Christmas. It was pushed forward to the new year. It is now the new year. He's dealing with the Post Office, but he's going to have to deal with that in the next few days as well.
Now, another issue that we talked about a lot last week, do you remember darts?
Yes, this time last week.
Oh, yeah, it was. Luke Littler versus Luke Humphries in the final. And we spoke at the time, didn't we? Said, is this going to lead to a resurgence and interest in darts? It would appear that has happened. This is according to the Mirror, saying that basically darts mania has gripped the town where Luke Littler honed his skills. Lots of people flooding. Dartboards have sold out. You can't get a dartboard for love nor money.
Yeah, and one dart shop in Luke Littler's hometown of St Helens has apparently seen takings increase by 50 grand on last year as people queue up. Dart mania, they're calling it. Absolutely incredible. Brilliant. Inspire a generation.
Inspire a generation, exactly.
Look then at this morning's front pages. Let's start then with the Metro, which leads with a decision by the former Post Office boss, Paula Vennell, to hand back her CBE. Its headline there, "I've listened, I'm sorry," says Vennell at last. Her decision to hand back her CBE is also the lead story for The Times. Now, the Financial Times also there leading on the Post Office scandal, reporting that Fujitsu, the company behind the software, won contracts under Sunak's watch despite the Post Office IT scandal. And the Eye has an exclusive that Fujitsu was granted access to priority lanes to win £700 million in government contracts, despite concerns over its faulty software. The Sun there speaks to a postmaster who says that he was backed by Princess Kate. Meanwhile, the Mirror hears from a widow who says her husband was destroyed by the Post Office scandal. And it's the same story there featuring in the Telegraph. Its report that the developer of the faulty Horizon IT system demanded immunity before agreeing to appear at the public inquiry. In the Daily Mail, calls for campaigners for the ex-Post Office boss to return millions of bonuses, millions of pounds in bonuses and pensions. And here's the front of the Daily Express there. It reports that the Rishi Sunak will face a showdown with Tory rebels after they issued a series of demands to toughen up the new Rwanda deportation law. And if you want to see any of those front pages again or read the stories, just scan the QR code which is on your screen.